Alrighty. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, woke up a little early today. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I got to adjust the gain a little bit. Hold on. Audio test 1, audio test 2, 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 audio test 1, audio test 1, audio test 2, audio test 1, audio test 2, audio test 1, audio test 2. I think that'll do. I think right there, that'll do, right? This one? This is good? You guys dig? You guys dig? This is good? A little louder? Right there. That'll do, that'll do, that'll do. I think that's good, yeah? I think we're good on that now. Physical therapy kicked my ass this morning. That fucking sucks. What do you have physical therapy for? You guys loved my Patrick Star impression the other night. I do have a weirdly accurate Patrick Star impression. You broke your back last year. Jesus Christ, dog. Sorry, guys. Let me do a quick audio test. May I take your hat, sir? May I take your hat, sir? May I take your hat, sir? I think that was good. So did you guys see Trump thinks that Mattel Toys is a country? Is the main account gone forever? Well, I mean, we don't know that if it's gone forever. I have a guy at TikTok who I'm contacting to see if he can get my account back. But as of now, yeah, no, it's gone. Oh, God, what did you say? Yeah, Trump thinks Mattel is a company.
Mattel, I don't know.
Watch this.
Mattel, I don't know. I'm not so sure. They also said, they're the only country I've heard, they said, well, we're going to go counter. We're going to try going someplace else. That's okay.
Listen to that again, bro. How dare you? Play the fucking video. How dare you? Play the fucking video, dog. You just played it. How is this possible?
Mattel, I don't know. I'm not so sure. They also said, they're the only country I've heard, they said, well, we're going to go counter. We're going to try going someplace else. That's okay. Let him go, and we'll put 100% tariff on his toys, and he won't sell one toy in the United States, and that's their biggest market. I heard that. I mean, I watched this guy talking about how I'm going to go counter.
What made you cut the hair? Well, growing the hair was the character arc, and now that I've reached where I'm happy with, I was like, all right, time to cut the hair, and it's time for the new chapter, which is, now I'm a political commentator. The hair growth was the TikTok growth to become a reputable, independent journalist, and I feel that we've made it. Your computer is on life support, dude. How do you know that? It is, but how do you know that? How do you know that? Hi, Bean. You want to say hi? You want to come say hi? Come here, handsome. Oh, baby. Start doing collabs with other like-minded anti-Trump YouTubers. I would love to. I would love to collab with, like, Luke Beasley or Kyle Kalinske or Adam Mockler, Hassan Piker, any of them. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, Beans loves me. He's never attacked my face. He knows where the food comes from, you know? I watch all of those dudes, LMAO. Yeah, me too, dog. Me too. And I'm certain that if they saw my content, they'd be like, oh, this guy's just like us, except he's a New York douchebag and fucking loses his cool and crashes out. And that's the energy we need, you know? Hassan's great, but his number one main focus is Israel-Palestine, which for a lot of Americans is not their number one main focus. Kyle is great, but he's, you know, a suit and tie wearing 30-something-year-old dude with a wife, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's a different niche. Adam Mockler and Luke Beasley are great, but they're, you know, they're kids. They're kids. They got no fucking facial hair. And again, that's not a bad thing. I am that other field. I'm that middle line where, you know, hey, I got the same beliefs as you, but I'm large. I'm not 30. Your crash outs are valid as fuck. Thank you, Rocky Lucid, for the 1 month loyalist membership. But, you know, I'm large. I'm hairy. I got the same political mind, and I'm not afraid to tell a MAGA rat to go fuck themselves with a corkscrew, which I do think is something that we're missing in our society. How you doing, Jack? Beans, can you get out of the fucking way? Beans, get out of the way. Beans, for the love of Christ, you're gonna knock everything over. You're gonna knock everything over. Please, please, Beans. Oh my God, 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 oh my God. He's knocking everything over. Oh my God. Beanie. Oh, fucking Beans. I didn't get the new laptop yet. I didn't get it yet. Kyle Kalinski's low-key my favorite YouTuber right now. He's just upfront and honest and consistent, too. He posts 4 to 6 times a day during the week. I know. I want to get to Kyle's level. But you got to remember, too, for Kyle, I love Kyle. But Kyle and Secular Talk and Crystal, his wife, they have a team. They've got a company, you know. They've got a whole-ass team and editors and all that. I am a dude. I'm just a dude. I'm just a fucking dude, bro. I don't edit my shit. I just post it. Luigi, du hai ras! Come ti hilfe? On the ground reporting. Yeah, I'm already prepared for on the ground reporting. I got one of these. I am prepared for on the ground reporting. I am prepared for on the ground reporting. Say that again. I'm sorry, did you say you're a whiny little bitch? Sorry, bitch boy says what? What do you think about Aaron Parnas? I think he's great. I love his content on YouTube. Sorry, not on YouTube, on TikTok. And I think it's absolutely deranged that the Trump regime is trying to you know, deport his ass. Thoughts on the new Pope? You know, shouts out to Oblak, Schleim in the Vatican. You know, we got Deep Dish on every Sunday now. You know what it is. You know what it is. Trying to deport Aaron. Well, they're trying to, not deport him, my bad. They're trying to arrest him. Why? Because he's not a Trump sycophant. Do you want to actually see? I'll show you. Bean. Good morning, Malenti. Yeah, no, but Aaron Parnas, he's not a Trump loyalist, and he's a huge reporter, and because of that, all over Twitter, the high-ranking MAGA people on Twitter, like libs of TikTok, who have dinner with the president, are advocating for Pam Bondi to arrest him for warning people about ICE raids in Washington, D.C. Been watching you more and more. I really like your coverage on the genocides that's happening. Yeah, it's bad. It's fucking brutal. It's absolutely fucking brutal. But thanks for watching, Slurgy. I don't know who Black Boot is. I saw ICE in Massachusetts. You want to see a video of the ICE raid in Massachusetts, guys? It's fucking brutal. No, the Pope is not MAGA. He's very anti-MAGA. Here's ICE raiding Massachusetts. So, yeah, MAGA will cheer for this. MAGA will cheer for this. They'll be like, I love hearing those fucking screams echoing throughout this beautiful town. I love when the Gestapo comes in and just fucking black bags people and disappears them, and then we send them to an El Salvadorian slave labor camp where they'll never see sunlight again and fucking die. This is because everybody who still supports Donald Trump is subhuman and a fascist. I mean that with my entire fucking chest. If you still support Donald Trump, fuck you. I wish you the worst. I mean that fully. I wish you the worst. Stop crying for MS-13. Oh, let's play this again for you. Go ahead, cheer for it. Cheer for it. Cheer for it. Cheer for it, Nazi. Come on, Vincent, you bald fuck. Cheer for it, you bald-headed bastard. This is what you like, right? We'll play it again for you because you like this. Cheer for it, Vincent. Isn't this what you like? You bald bitch. Shave's not bald. No, you're bald, dog. You're bald. You look like fucking King Neptune. What's the context? ICE raid in Worcester, Massachusetts. A spokesperson from the Worcester Police Department says that its officers were not initially at the scene but responded to a call reporting that a hostile crowd surrounded federal agents who were performing a raid. But again, Vincent, you watch this and you support it, right? This little girl calling for her dad, right? She must be MS-13, right, bald boy? This little girl screaming for her daddy. She must be MS-13, right, bald boy? And then her mother coming in to try and get these violent fucking cops to not hurt her. She should get arrested too, right, Vincent? You bald bitch. Ah, that's great too. You want her arrested too, right? You bald fucking loser, right? I would just like to note that we're all watching this, and everybody here who has empathy is like, this is fucked up. But yet, the fucking skinhead in chat, the bald fucking loser, is like, no, I support law enforcement. This is good. This is good. Yeah, no, this is good. I would support the law enforcement. Why are you so disingenuous? Are you getting triggered because I'm calling you bald boy? Stop getting so triggered, bald boy. So yeah, and the thing is, people on the right will cheer for this, and you don't need to take my word for it. Just read my fucking chat. We have actual fascists in the chat, bald fascists, I might add, who love this shit. They love seeing people rounded up and detained by ICE. They love it. They love it.
Mr. President. I recognize the senator from Vermont.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, I want to say a few words.
Hold on, let me go grab her.
About an issue that people all over the world are thinking about, are appalled by, but for some strange reason gets very little discussion here in the nation's capital or in the halls of Congress. And that is the horrific humanitarian disaster that is unfolding in Gaza. Today marks 68 days.
If a white girl was screaming for her white criminal dad, I wouldn't care. Why are you assuming that that girl's dad was a criminal? Do you just assume that everybody ICE detains are just violent criminals? Even though we already know for a fact that ICE has erroneously deported fucking Kilmar Abrego Garcia? You already know for a fact that ICE wrongfully deports people all the time without due process. Who said violent? You. You said if a white girl was screaming for her white criminal dad, I wouldn't care. We already know what you mean by that, by them being a criminal. You are assuming that these are illegal immigrants. Not all criminals are violent. Yeah, I know, but you immediately assume that all illegal immigrants are violent criminals. That's what you assume because you're in a death cult.
Days and counting.
Bald.
Since any
bald. 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 Bald.
Humanitarian aid was allowed.
Bro, how does
Gaza.
Bernie Sanders have more fucking hair than you, Vincent? Bald. 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 Bald.
For more than 9 weeks, Israel has blocked all supplies, no food,
Bald!
no water,
Bald! 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 Bald!
no medicine, and no fuel. Hundreds of truckloads of life-saving supplies are waiting to enter Gaza, sitting just across the border, but are denied entry by...
The funniest thing about Vincent, guys, is Vincent used to be a super fan, and once he found out that I'm not a Trump sycophant, he suddenly became an enemy.
Israeli authorities.
He used to be a super fan.
There is no ambiguity here.
Thank you for the $5, Sam Calvo. Says, keep up the word, brother. Also, bald!
Netanyahu's extremist government talks openly about using humanitarian aid as a weapon. Defense Minister Israel Katz said, quote, Israel's policy is clear. No humanitarian...
By the way, you know it's bad when Bernie Sanders turns on Israel. Bernie Sanders is an ideological Zionist. He's always been in support of Israel. He's the most Jewish man in Brooklyn, okay? Bernie fucking Sanders calling out Israel on a genocide means it's over. You've lost the plot.
Humanitarian aid will enter Gaza, and blocking this
W
aid
Star Dusty Rusty for becoming a loyalist. Thank you very much, Star Dusty. Appreciate you.
is one of the main pressure levers. End of quote. Mr. President, starving children to death as a weapon of war is a clear violation of the Geneva Convention, the Foreign Assistance Act, and basic human...
W. Sam Calvo just became a loyalist. Thank you, W. Sam Calvo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate you. Let's get some W. Sams.
decency. Civilized people do not starve children to death.
Where's the
What is
martial law?
going-
Oh, Vincent, do you want martial law? Nelson Snow with the, you just know Vincent has 88 in his gamer tag, also bald! So I'm just wondering, Vincent, on April 20th, when Trump received that joint report submitted by Kristi Noem and Pete Hegseth that tell him whether or not he should invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807, what did it say in that report, Vincent? Did it say, sir, you should invoke the Insurrection Act, or did it say, sir, you should not invoke the Insurrection Act? Which one did it say? Vincent, bald. Which one did it say, bald? How you doing, Emily? Said in April 20th we'd be under martial law. Yeah, because on April 20th the report was due from Kristi Noem and Pete Hegseth that tells him whether or not to invoke the Insurrection Act. What did that report say, bald? Did it say, sir, you should invoke the Insurrection Act, or did it say, sir, you shouldn't invoke the Insurrection Act? What did it say, bald? I'm good. I'm on break. I decided to watch. Welcome, Emily. Welcome. What did it say, bald? Doesn't matter. Not under martial law. Come on. What did it say, bald? I also like how you're responding to bald now. That's all I'm calling you for the rest of time. Mr. Bald, what did that report say? Are you there, bald? You tell me. Hi, Beans. Oh, that's the thing, Vincent. We can't tell you because you and I are not privy to know the information of what was in that report. For all we know, he could have been told, yes, sir, you should invoke the Insurrection Act after you pass this new executive order that prepares the nation in the next 60 to 90 days, which you've probably not read because you don't read, but the Enforcing Law Enforcement Act. Oh, thank you for the $5, Disobedient Avocado. Chrome Dome Cult member! Also, money! Thank you for the money. Oh.
Going on right now in Gaza is a war crime committed openly and in broad daylight and continuing every single day. Mr. President, there are 2.2 million people who live in Gaza. Today, these people are trapped, the borders are sealed, and Israel has pushed the population into an ever smaller area. With Israel having cut off all aid, what we are seeing now is a slow, brutal process of mass starvation and death by the denial of basic necessities. This is methodical, it is intentional, it is the stated policy of the Netanyahu government. Without fuel, there is no ability to pump fresh water.
As a fellow member of the bald community, we do not accept Vincent or his beliefs. That is all. Dipspit Gaming, you're not bald, bro. Your head is shaved. You're not bald. You've shaved your head. Vincent is bald. My center-left beliefs? Vincent, I don't even believe that you have center-left beliefs, and even if you did, that is the most cowardly position you could take politically. For example, let's see. What is your take on... let's think of something controversial. What's your take on abortion, Vincent? If you call yourself center-left, what's your take on abortion rights? What's your take on abortion rights, bald? Thank you for the $5. Bald just ordered merch. Hopefully it doesn't get blown up. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, hopefully it doesn't get blown up because it's in fucking Pakistan. You're pro-choice. Okay, so we'll call that a left-leaning belief. What is your stance on the Second Amendment? Bald, what is your take on the Second Amendment? Malenti says forced abortion for all gingers. I want reform, but I believe in the Second Amendment. So far, Bald, you and I agree. I'm pro-choice. I'm also a gun owner. I believe that we need reform, but I do like the Second Amendment. I'm trying to slowly go piece by piece to show that I think you're choosing center-left for some stupid fucking reason, and there is no center-left. You're either on the left or the right. And I'm going to try and get to my point here. So we've covered the basics here. Second Amendment. How about this? What do you think about voter ID, Vincent? What do you think about voter ID? Should be required. Okay, so you believe, so that's something where we disagree on. So let's dive into this, Bald. Why do you believe that everybody in the United States of America who wants to vote should have a photo ID when there's a ginormous portion of the voting bloc in the United States of America who don't own a photo ID? Why do you want to add another element on top, to make it even more difficult to vote? What is it about voting that you believe needs to be more difficult? When, for example, the Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative think tank, right? It's a conservative think tank that has studied voter fraud since the year 2000. They have only found 3 cases of voter fraud, meaning 3 cases of what you're assuming, undocumented immigrants voting. So why is it that you want it to be harder? There's many forms of ID, and I want the government to issue voter ID to all U.S. citizens. Okay, so right now, we don't have free ID. So with it standing the way that it is right now, it costs between $200 and $300 to get access to a U.S. passport. Not every state in the United States has a real ID, and your driver's license doesn't count when it comes to voting. So let's just call it a passport, right? Why do you want people to have to pay an extra $200 to $300 to get a passport in order to vote? Weak argument, voter ID. There's a proposal that post office could help do for free in creating a process in every town funded by the government. Fine. I agree with you here. I believe that it should be taxpayer funded. My question is this, guys. Forget about this future thing of, we give everyone free IDs. We don't right now. Right now, we don't give everybody free IDs. So the question is simple to everyone in chat. Are you in support of forcing people to pay an additional $300 to vote? Because that's what you're saying. We need ID to function in society. Brother, we haven't required photo ID to vote ever. And we've never had a rigged election. We've never had voter fraud. None of that shit happens. It isn't a problem. Why do you guys have to pay for ID? Because we live in the United States of America. There is nothing that you don't pay for. If somebody in this chat can name one thing in the United States that you can get for free, I will be astounded. Brother, I don't think you know this, Steph Demeter. When a woman gives birth to a child in the United States of America, she has to pay an immediate fee to hold her child. That's not a joke. When a woman gives birth to a child, the doctor immediately takes the baby. In order to hold that baby, you need to pay an additional fee. That is real. That is real. Excuse me? Yeah, that's real. You didn't know that? That's BS? No, it isn't. Costs $40 to hold your newborn baby. Real cost of giving birth, $40 to hold my newborn baby. There's been court cases about this, bro. A $39, $35 charge for skin to skin or holding the baby immediately after delivery. $39.35 charge for skin to skin. Skin to skin. Why would they do that? It's just evil. Because capitalism. Because capitalism is inherently evil. Capitalism is inherently evil. That's why. It's literally that simple. The American healthcare system is beyond broken. See, Bald, now you're starting to sound like one of us. I am curious if you could name one of, because you keep saying you're center right. What is your problem with me? Because you are a dedicated hater. I've seen you on TikTok. I've seen you here many a time. You're an incredibly dedicated hater. What is your problem with me? You're also a grown-ass man. Because you lost you marbles. So that is ridiculous and something a child would say. So can you give me an actual reason? Like, what is your problem with me? So are you? No, dude, I'm 27. You're like 40. I've seen what you look like. That's why I call you bald. You look like you might have a daughter, okay? You're in your 40s. Let's be honest. I'm 38. Yeah, that's 40, dog. So you're 40 years old. And you're a dedicated hater. What is your right-wing standing point? What is your problem? Luigi! I have a 9-year-old son. Oh my God, that's my point. Dude, you are a grown-ass 40-year-old bald man with a 9-year-old son, probably either a wife or a baby mama, and you spend an obscene amount of time hating me on YouTube and TikTok. I see your comments, dog. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's insane. It's insane. You have other priorities. You have other responsibilities, like raising a child. Takes 5 seconds to post. Brother, you've been here for over half an hour. I can multitask. Okay, so again, bald with a 9-year-old son. Could you please tell me what is your right-leaning belief? What brings you to the middle? Because you say you're center-left. Which one of your beliefs brings you to the middle? It's Christian Damien. It is not Christian or Damien, I'm telling you. Vincent is a bald man. He's commented on my TikToks for months on months on months. He's made videos about me. This is one of the most dedicated haters that I have. And now we're learning this is a 40-year-old man with a 9-year-old son. That poor fucking kid. I feel very bad for your kid. My views closely align with 2010 Obama. Okay, so can you fucking tell me one of your center beliefs? I don't know what this beat around the bush is. I don't even think you know what your fucking beliefs are. Can you please tell me one of your beliefs that brings you to the center? Please? For the love of God, are you capable of verbalizing it? Anything. You're too angry. I'm anti-illegal immigration. You think I'm pro-illegal immigration? Are you fucking stupid? And also, I am too angry because I actually care about my nation. $5 from Gecko. For the love of God, tell this man to go help his kid with his math homework, play baseball with him or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, no, I mean, dude. Could you fucking imagine? You're a 9-year-old kid, you wake up in the morning, go grab a cup of apple juice, and you see your bald fucking dad crouched over the computer in a YouTube chat with like a 27-year-old kid on the fucking TV going, yeah, I fucking hate you, yeah, I'm not bald, I'm shaved! Like, dude, I would be like, oh my God, my dad is such a fucking loser. My dad is such a fucking loser. But again, no, Vincent, I don't support illegal immigration. So could you please tell me your belief that pulls you away from me? Because, no, I don't support illegal immigration. Dude, I wonder if one day his son will get old enough to watch YouTube and he'll stumble upon my content and he'll just be in here. And then out of nowhere, his bald dad will pop up in the chat and he'll be like, is that my fucking dad? So you support deportations? Yeah, if people are actually criminal, undocumented gang members, sure. That's the whole thing about due process, is you need to go through due process and then be charged with a crime before you're deported. What do you think? So you're getting to the center? No, dumb fuck. Do you think the left, their stance is, we want all illegal immigrants and then they can just stay here? Is that what you think? Do you think the left's belief system is pro-illegal immigrants? Actually, fuck immigrants, let's just open the border entirely. Is that what you think? What? Okay, then don't cry about deportations. Brother, the President of the United States said that he wants to deport U.S. citizens. The President of the United States says he doesn't know whether everyone in this nation is entitled to due process. The President of the United States has erroneously deported multiple people, including U.S. citizens. That's the problem. The problem is not deportations. The problem is illegal deportations. How many U.S. citizens have been deported? At least 3. Now, I know you're going to say BS because you literally don't fucking read, but at least 3 U.S. citizens have been deported. Matt, ban Hee Daruma 101. Malenti, ban Hee Daruma 101 permanently. Check the context on that. Oh, really? So you've already started to go, oh, well, hold on. There's a story behind deporting the U.S. citizen. Trump's border czar secretly deported 2 U.S. citizen children. Age 9, 5, and 4 at school in Austin last Thursday morning when their car was pulled over by Texas State troopers. The younger 2 children, both boys, are U.S. citizens. But that did not dissuade the troopers from turning Para Vargas and her husband over to Immigration's enforcement. Having a U.S. citizen child after you enter the country illegally is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. The mother and her kids became the latest people to vanish into the immigration system and be held incommunicado. Grassroots leadership and his legal team were just trying to figure out where she was. So, choices: either kids go to the foster care or leave with the parents. So, you support deporting U.S. citizens? So, you support deporting U.S. citizens? Come on, Bald. You want those kids in a foster care? You want to separate their families? No, answer my question, you bald coward. Do you support deporting U.S. citizens, yes or no? Answer with one of those, yes or no. Don't be a bald coward and beat around the bush and avoid the question. Do you support deporting U.S. citizens? No? Okay, so what's your take on this? What's your take on this? On Trump's borders are secretly deporting 2 U.S. citizen children. You just said you don't support deporting U.S. citizens, so what's your take on the Trump regime deporting 2 U.S. citizens? I just told you they weren't deported. They went with their parents. No, they were deported. Your opinions mean nothing. Facts don't care about your feelings. So I'll ask you one more time, nice and slow, bald idiot. Do you support deporting U.S. citizens? Yes or no? Come on, bald. No. Okay, so do you support this? I know we're doing the same thing again, but we have to sometimes with people like you. Your brains work very slowly. So now that you've said you don't support deporting U.S. citizens, do you support deporting U.S. citizens? Watch, guys, we're going to go in a circle over and over and over again. Illegals were deported. The kids weren't. Parents brought them with them. No. The U.S. citizen children were deported. You're incorrect. They weren't given a chance to stay with their father, who's a U.S. citizen. Facts don't care about your feelings. You don't know shit about what you're talking about because you don't fucking read. I do this for a living. They were taken from their home without the chance to even grab any of their belongings, like any toys, any clothes, anything that they might need for their day-to-day lives. They don't have any of that, and it's just including the material possessions. There's also the long-term psychological damage. The reality is that this is not the first time ICE has done this. So, again, Vincent, can you talk about why you support this? Can you talk about why you support children being taken from their home without the chance to even grab any of their belongings? U.S. citizens, mind you. And then being deported to Honduras. Could you please tell me why you proudly support that, Bald? Could you please tell the class why you proudly support this? Come on. Be brave, Bald. Parents call. Yeah, it wasn't up to the parents. It was up to ICE. Facts don't care about your feelings. The parents had no say. Wasn't up to the parents whatsoever. As a father, how can you support this? Oh, well, he wouldn't support it if it was him. If it had to do with him and his family, he would suddenly no longer support it. What should have happened? Foster care? No, what should have happened is the parents should have gone to the father, who was a U.S. citizen born on U.S. soil. Should have gone to the father, as he requested. Your mother is an immigrant. So is your father a U.S. citizen? Like born on U.S. soil, a naturalized citizen? Well, damn, I'll look further if that's legit. Of course. Okay, so I want you to take a trip back in memory lane, Vincent. Your mother is an immigrant. Your father is born on U.S. soil. I'm assuming your mother is a legal immigrant. But go back in time to your childhood. You're 8 years old. Considering how old you are, it's, what is it, the 80s? It's the 80s? You're 8 years old. Now, let's assume your mother is a illegal immigrant in this case, but you don't know it. Think about the way that you knew your mother as a kid. You know, you knew she was an immigrant, but let's just say, hypothetically, your mother lied to you, and she came here illegally, but she didn't want to tell you because you're just a kid. You don't need to know that. 90s? Sorry, dude, time changes. So, it's the 90s. You're a child. Your father's born in the U.S., your mother's not. Now, I want you to imagine, put yourself in their shoes. You're sitting there, you're watching the cartoons, it's Saturday morning, and fucking ICE, wearing masks, breaks down your fucking door, runs in there, pins your mother to the fucking wall, handcuffs her. Your father goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Your father pinned to the fucking wall, handcuffed. You're 7. You're sitting there. You're horrified. You're screaming. You're crying. Your mother gets thrown in a fucking van and is disappeared. You don't get to know where she goes. And then ICE takes you and throws you in another fucking van. Your father is screaming bloody murder, going, "That is my son. Give me back my son. He was born in the U.S." And they take you and your mother to a fucking ICE detention center that is controlled by Geo Group, a private company that donated $400 million to the Trump campaign. They put you in there, and while your father is fighting tooth and nail getting a lawyer trying to get you brought home, your mother, in this case, remember, you're fucking 7, is sent back to whatever fucking nation she came from, and then you, without any of your toys or your clothes or anything, are sent with her, despite your fucking father being here fighting for you to stay. Now, Vincent, now that you're in their shoes, do you still support it? Like you've been proudly supporting it for the past 48 fucking minutes? Now that you're imagining you, do you suddenly no longer support it? Valid crash out if I've ever had one. I'd grow up to blame my parents for putting me in that situation. You're such a piece of shit, Vincent. You're such a piece of shit. My God, your poor fucking son is gonna grow up to hate people that look different than him.
Leaving people increasingly desperate, unable to find clean water to drink or to wash with or to cook properly. Disease is once again spreading in Gaza. Most of the bakeries in Gaza...
I have one last question before we move on and watch this video. Bald. You have a son, so I'm assuming you either have a baby mama or a wife. Maybe this is too much to ask. Is that woman a legal U.S. citizen? Was she born on U.S. soil? Thank you for the 5 gifted Nelson memberships. Thank you, Nelson. Yes, she is. Okay, well, Vincent, are you capable of imagining for a second that she's the exact same woman, but she lied to you, and she was not born on U.S. soil? Can you imagine that just for a second? That she lied to you about one thing, and that's that she is an illegal immigrant. Same fucking woman that she is. Are you capable of imagining that? I would resent her for that. Oh my fucking God. So, you're capable of imagining her as a illegal immigrant that lied to you, but everything else is the same, right? You're capable of imagining that? Are you capable of imagining that, Vincent? Not really. This guy's not even capable of a hypothetical. Holy shit. Why am I even conversing with you? You can't even imagine that? Are you serious? I could imagine my dog as a pterodactyl. And you're incapable of, for the sake of a hypothetical argument, you're incapable of even imagining that she was an undocumented immigrant. I don't marry people I don't know. It's a hypothetical, you fucking idiot. Okay, fine, let's play pretend. Yay, we're playing pretend. So in this hypothetical, your wife is the exact same woman, but an undocumented immigrant. If ICE showed up and deported your wife, would you want them to take your child with or without your permission? Do you think it's okay for them to take your child with or without your permission? Because, hey, she should go with the mother. Your son should go with the mother, right? Absolutely not. Okay, great. So you know you do not support what we were watching earlier. Remember when you were like, no, I support law enforcement, and we were watching that? So you don't support it. You've changed your mind now that you've imagined yourself in that scenario. I asked for the context. Well, regardless, do you support deporting children despite the fact that their parents or one of their parents is a legal U.S. citizen? Without their permission, of course. Yeah, he supports it when it doesn't affect him, but once it does, he doesn't support it. That's the exact same story with all MAGA.
Have now shut down, having run out of fuel and flour. The few remaining community kitchens are also shutting down. Most people are now surviving on scarce canned goods, often a single can of beans or some lentils.
What are your thoughts on Ashley Babbitt? Did she deserve it too? She 100% deserved it. She got 210 in the fucking neck. It was a beautiful sight. She 100% deserved it.
Shared between a family once a day. The United Nations reports that more than 2 million people out of a population of 2.2 million face severe food shortages. The starvation hits children.
Who's Ashley Babbitt? Ashley Babbitt is one of the January 6th insurrectionists, and she was caught on video breaking open a window inside of the Capitol building, like in the Capitol building, a window that separated two different hallways, and this hallway was where the Senate was, like the actual senators were in there. She broke down the window and then climbed in through the window, and there was a giant crowd following her, and as she climbed in through the window, a brave Capitol police officer shot her through the fucking neck and killed her.
Children the hardest. At least 65,000 children now show symptoms of malnutrition, and dozens have already starved to death. Malnutrition rates increased 80% in March, the last month for which data is available, after Netanyahu began the siege.
I don't think anyone deserves to die, to be honest. So do you believe in self-defense? Do you believe in self-defense?
But the situation has severely deteriorated since then. UNICEF reported yesterday that, quote, the
said no?
situation is getting worse
All right,
every
then
day,
there's no point.
end quote, and that they are treating about 10,000 children for severe malnutrition. And severe malnutrition is not something that is cured overnight. This will have a permanent impact on the health and well-being of those kids for the rest of their lives. Without adequate nutrition or access to clean water, many children will die of easily preventable diseases, killed by something as simple as diarrhea. For the tens of thousands of injured people in Gaza, particularly the countless burn victims from Israeli bombing, their wounds cannot heal without adequate food and clean water. Left to fester, infections will kill many who should have survived. With no infant formula and with malnourished mothers unable to breastfeed, many infants are also at severe risk of death. Those that survive will bear the scars of what they are going through now for the rest of their lives. And with little medicine available, easily treatable illnesses and chronic diseases.
The funniest part about Ashley Babbitt is that her mother is now like a huge MAGA QAnon conspiracy theorist that goes and holds protests in the name of the January 6th insurrectionists. And there's people who like go to those rallies with pictures of her dead daughter going, your daughter's dead because she's an insurrectionist, which I think is fucking hilarious, dude. Like, yeah, bro, your dumbass dead daughter is dead because she tried to overthrow the United States government, which she was also a member of the United States military and took an oath to protect. So like, yeah, no, like fucking rotten hell, dead bitch.
Like diabetes,
I would unironically point at her mother and be like, ha ha, your daughter's dead.
Is now a death sentence in Gaza. Mr. President, what is going on there is not some terrible earthquake. It is not a hurricane. It is not a storm. What is going on in Gaza today is a man-made nightmare. And nothing, in my view, can justify this. What is happening in Gaza will be a permanent stain on the world's collective conscience. History will never forget that we allowed this to happen, and for us here in the United States, that we, in fact, enabled this ongoing atrocity.
Whoops. Real quick, I've got to ban Hihi Daruma. He's a racist. Where are you, Hihi Daruma? There you are. Bye, Hihi Daruma.
There is no doubt that Hamas, a terrorist organization, began this terrible war with its barbaric October 7th, 2023 attack.
Come on, Bernie. You're going to say Hamas started this war on October 7th of 2023? Did the Nakba not happen? Did the 1948 war not happen? Jesus Christ.
On Israel, which killed 1,200 innocent people and took 250 hostages. The International Criminal Court was right to indict Yahya Sinwar and other leaders of Hamas as war criminals for those atrocities. Clearly,
So you think
Israel,
Hamas is good?
as any
No, bro. Did I just fucking say that? I love how you actually hear the hallucinations in your head, dude. What did I just say, MLG? Jonathan, tell me what I just said. Tell me what I just said, MLG. Come on. Let's see. Show the class how your thought process works. Basically just said you side with Hamas. No, what I said was, in response to Bernie Sanders saying Hamas started this war on October 7th of 2023, was, come on, Bernie, are you really going to pretend this conflict started on October 7th, 2023? Did the Nakba not happen? Did the 1948 war not happen? So again, after me reiterating what I just said, please tell me how you got to so you think Hamas is good. Please tell me how your thought process works. Tell the class. Come on. So you think they should be allowed to take hostages and grenade shelters people? Dude, you're literally doing what I'm accusing you of doing right now. Thank you for the $5 donation, Mary Lee. You are hallucinating. Nobody said that. Are you okay? Are you mentally stable? Who the fuck said anything about grenades or hostages? Are you mentally stable? The sheep in here don't understand because they can't critically think. What the fuck? I don't think this guy's mentally stable.
The other country that was so attacked had the right to defend itself against Hamas. But Netanyahu's extremist government has not just waged war against Hamas. Instead, they have waged an all-out barbaric war of annihilation against the Palestinian people. They have intentionally made life unlivable in Gaza. Israel, up to now, has killed more than 52,000 people.
That's the low estimate.
And injured
the high estimate is around 200,000.
More than 118,000, 60% of whom are women, children, and the elderly. More than 15,000 children in Gaza have been killed.
Low estimate.
Mr. President, Israel's indiscriminate bombardment has damaged or destroyed 2/3 of all of the structures in Gaza, including 92% of the housing units. 92% of housing in Gaza has been damaged or destroyed. Most of the population now is living in tents or other makeshift structures. Mr. President, the healthcare system in Gaza has been essentially destroyed. Most of the territory's hospitals and primary healthcare facilities have been bombed. Gaza's civilian infrastructure.
Savannah just became a loyalist. W. Savannah. Thank you, Savannah. I appreciate you.
Has been totally devastated, including almost 90% of water and sanitation facilities. Most of the roads have been destroyed. Gaza's educational system has been obliterated. Hundreds of schools have been...
MLG just said Kamala Harris slept her way to the top. Bro, why don't you just say with your whole ass chest that A, you've never slept with a woman, and B, you hate women? You have literally no argument there other than the fact that she's a woman, therefore she's a whore. That is your entire understanding of the situation. Brother, I don't even need to address that. That's pathetic. It's well documented, bud. Yeah, bro, because there's fucking PDFs on there, just lists of all of the people that Kamala Harris slept with to get to the top. Hell yeah, bro. Bro, you're an incel. That's like, dude, that is the way that you might as well hold a sign that says, I'm an incel.
Been bombed. Schools have been bombed, as has every single one of Gaza's 12 universities. And there has been no electricity in Gaza for 18 months. No electricity. Mr. President, given this reality, nobody should have any doubts that Netanyahu is a war criminal. Just like his counterparts in Hamas, he has a massive amount of innocent blood on his hands. And now,
Thank you for the $2, Gecko. Everyone remind MLG to take his schizophrenia meds.
Netanyahu and his extremist ministers have a new plan. On top of everything else that has been done, they have a new plan. And that is to
No male lonely list for me. I spent 3 hours daily at the gym. Yeah, this is an incel.
definitely reoccupy all of Gaza, flatten
Different
the few
John every night kind of lifestyle. Oh my God, we've reached the... Dude, this actually usually happens when you call out incels for being fucking like beta losers. Brother is like, I work out more than you. I have a different woman every night. I make $200,000 a year. I'm a high value man. I'm an alpha bro. Oh!
buildings that are still standing and force the entire population of 2.2 million people into a single tiny area where hired U.S. security contractors will distribute rations to the survivors. Israeli officials are quite open about the goal here, to force Palestinians to leave for other countries, quote, in line with President
also,
Trump's...
Matthew Pompeo has a great point. 3 hours at the gym is horrendously inefficient. I go to the gym for an hour and a half, and the thing is, it's high intensity. If you're at the gym for 3 hours, brother, I think you're on your phone for an hour and a half. You're not doing shit. And if you are doing high intensity training for 3 hours, you're not going every day. Who do you think you are, C-bum? Brother, you're not a bodybuilder. Guaranteed you are wasting your shit-ass time doing shit-ass workouts. I rep 315. I love how you didn't even say the name of the workout. Dude, this is the epitome of incel gym bro behavior. I rep 315. On what? Do you know anything about working out? I rep 315. On what? Motherfucker! Holy shit.
vision for Gaza, end quote, as one Israeli official said this week. Israeli Finance Minister Smotrich said this week that, quote, Gaza will be entirely destroyed, end quote, and that its population will, quote, leave in great numbers, end quote. For many in Netanyahu's extremist government, this has been the plan all along. It's called ethnic cleansing. This would be a terrible tragedy, no matter where in the world it was happening or why it was happening, whatever the causes of it might be. But what makes this tragedy so much worse for us in America is that it is our government, the United States government, that is absolutely complicit in creating and sustaining this humanitarian disaster. It didn't just happen. We are a significant part of creating this humanitarian disaster. Last year alone, the United States provided $18 billion in military aid to Israel. This year, the Trump administration has approved $12 billion more in bombs and weapons. And for months, Trump has offered blanket support for Netanyahu. More than that, he has repeatedly said that the United States will actually take over Gaza after the war, that the Palestinian people will be driven, forcibly expelled from their homeland, and the United States will redevelop it into what Trump calls, quote, the Riviera of the Middle East, end quote, a playground for billionaires. Think about it. 2.2 desperate people who have been bombed and starved and driven from their homes are now about to be forcibly expelled from their territory into God knows where, so that Trump and his friends can build a Riviera for the billionaire class.
Is this fucking guy still trying to argue his alpha dominance? What did he say? I was QB in college, little Jacob, D1. Ran through the whole cheer squad in my first 3 months. Oh my God, ew, bro. Oh, what a fucking loser. What a fucking loser. Thank you for the $5. Bench 295, squat 405, deadlift 405, still not a fascist. Yeah, I know, dude. The strongest people in our nation are the anti-fascists. What a fucking loser. Oh my God. Chris, that is a bot and you were buying into it? I don't think that's a bot, dude. He's a regular.
And breaking right now out of the White House after President Trump floated cutting tariffs on China from
Thank you for becoming a loyalist, Gecko. W Gecko.
145% to 80%. He announced that on Truth Social. This is the message right there. Quote, China should open up its markets to the USA. Would be so good for them. Closed markets just don't work anymore, he went on to say. And all of this comes right before Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's meeting with the Chinese president. That's in Switzerland. Then on Saturday, he's expected to meet with the Chinese.
Yeah, this guy's a washed up, peaked in college athlete. Wasn't good enough to make it to the NFL. And now he just desperately clings on to the memories of the good old days.
Delegation for the first major conversations between the two nations since the tariffs began. Show you something else here right now. In total, China reports its exports rose 8% in April from the year before. Also, keep this in mind. Shipments from China to the United States dropped 21%. There have been a lot of changes over the past couple of weeks. On Thursday, the president announced a major breakthrough agreement, this time with the United Kingdom.
Wait, brother, you own a trucking business? So you're getting absolutely fucked by the Trump regime. So if you own a trucking business, what do you think about how all of these truckers have to prove that they're proficient in English in order to be a trucker? What do you think about that whole thing? How they're like doing checkpoints and making sure they're firing any truckers who can't speak English? What do you think about that? Because that directly interferes with your business. Fine with it. So, you just okay with your business getting worse? It's good for us because less competition. That's not how that works. It just means it's going to be harder for you to find truckers because you can only hire truckers that speak English. Hedgehog just became a loyalist. Thank you, Hedgehog. Welcome, welcome. W Hedgehog. All of my truckers speak English. Yeah, but now you cannot hire a trucker unless they speak English. Do you support that or no? Only affects companies breaking the laws. You think it's illegal to not speak English? Do you think it's illegal to not speak English? It's illegal to transport drugs. What are we doing now? Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? What? Only ones hiring illegals are doing sketchy shit. Nobody said illegals. Nobody said anything about civilian status. Are you saying that anybody who speaks Spanish isn't illegal? Hey, MLG, are you insinuating that anybody who speaks Spanish is an illegal immigrant? Most people who can't speak English are probably not legal. Is that outrageous? Yes, it's outrageous and incorrect. It's wildly outrageous and extremely incorrect. That's insane.
Of them right now, trade agreements. We're doing 3. We'll be doing a lot of the signings. They would like to do them in the Oval Office.
Well, today Donald Trump retreated and surrendered twice. Once in his trade war, and once again in the United States Senate. We reported on this program last night that Donald Trump's increasing political weakness had made it impossible for him to get enough votes in the Senate to confirm his choice to be the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. And today, Donald Trump surrendered and withdrew his choice for confirmation to that position. And while he was at it, Donald Trump admitted, in effect, that he's just too old and too weak to do his job.
We're making a video of this. All right, hold on. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Valenti video. Fuck. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Valenti VOD. I'm your perfect and humble leader, Chris Valenti. We got some new merch with my face on it. Listen, Trump is getting shellacked right now. He is surrendering in his trade war. He's surrendering to not getting Judge Jeanine Pirro. Yeah, you know, I'm talking Judge Pirro, the fucking woman from Fox News. He's surrendering from getting her to become the U.S. Attorney General. He's surrendering on all fronts. He's admitting that he's a weak, fat, orange, fucking fascist loser. The federal courts are shutting down his deployment of the, the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. He's getting fucked. Things are finally starting to come back to bite the Fuhrer in the ass. And we're going to watch Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC absolutely tear the orange mango Mussolini a new fucking asshole. Before we do watch this, let me remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. If you do want to help the channel financially, because this is real independent media, and I actually have no funding, unlike Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Charlie Kirk, all of those GOP-funded fucking propagandists, I'm actually independent media. So if you want to help fund this channel, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You could donate, you could become a patron on Patreon for $5. You could become a member on YouTube for $5. You could buy some Valenti Videos merch down below, and you can use that 40% off discount for Ground News. Thank you very much. Also, we film these videos live, which is why we have a chat. The chat will pop up in 3, 2, 1. There's the chat. If you want to see these videos live, make sure you hit the notification bell. Speaking of the chat, MLG Jonathan, dedicated hate watcher. He's here almost every day. He says, bro is always begging for handouts. And indeed I am. And the reason being, like we just covered, this is real independent media, folks. If you are curious to see what it looks like when somebody has a political opinion that isn't actually bought out by the DNC or the GOP, this is what it looks like. A fucking dude on a Logitech camera with a dog and a cat next to him. But without further ado, let's watch Lawrence O'Donnell rip this guy a new fucking asshole.
Well, today, Donald Trump retreated and surrendered twice. Once in his trade war, and once again in the United States Senate. We reported on this program last night that Donald Trump's increasing political weakness had made it impossible for him to get enough votes in the Senate to confirm his choice to be the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. And today, Donald Trump surrendered and withdrew his choice.
His choice is Judge Jeanine Pirro, that crazy bitch from Fox News.
Position. And while he was at it, Donald Trump admitted, in effect, that he's just too old and too weak to do his job.
I can only lift that little phone so many times in a day.
That's how Donald Trump explained his inability to get the 50 votes he needs from Republican senators, plus the vice president, to achieve that Senate confirmation. And you know, he only had to make one phone call to get that nomination through the Senate. That would be a phone call to Republican Senator Tom Tillis on the Senate Judiciary Committee, who publicly came out and defied Donald Trump, as we reported to you here last night. Because Donald Trump is now so politically weak among Republicans.
Yeah, Donald Trump's approval rating has dropped down to 39%. This entire nation is turning on Trump. There's only about 20% of the people who voted for Trump who still support him. And only 22% of the nation voted for Trump. So 20% of that is like what? Fucking 7 million people still support the Führer?
In the United States Senate, Tom Tillis said no publicly. I will not vote for Donald Trump's choice. And today, Donald Trump just publicly and meekly surrendered to Tom Tillis, to that one Republican senator who stood in his way, with Donald Trump saying, I can only lift that little phone so many times in a day. The single stupidest explanation a president has ever given for being...
Well, don't forget, Donald Trump is the single weakest president that America has ever had, both physically and mentally. Donald Trump has said himself that he doesn't believe in exercise because the human body is like a battery and it has a finite amount of energy, and that exercise depletes it. Donald Trump eats Big Macs and drinks Diet Coke every day. He's a fat, weak loser. And when it comes to his mentality, it's even worse. He's incapable of admitting when he's wrong. This guy's so pathetic he bankrupted a casino, which is genuinely fucking impressive. He's never read the Constitution. He can barely read, let alone interpret shit. The guy was asked directly, Mr. President, don't you have to uphold the Constitution? And he said, I don't know. That's a direct quote. We covered this in a previous video, Trump's worst interview of all time.
Unable to achieve a Senate confirmation. Today, Joe Biden appeared on The View for a full hour, taking all questions, and was always smart, sometimes
MLG, you're not going to
wise,
be able to make jokes in here. You are not one of us.
and always made perfect sense for the full hour, the way you would expect a president to do. Joe Biden was dignified for the full hour. Joe Biden was indeed presidential for the full hour. Imagine, if you will, Joe Biden in his presidency explaining his failure to win a vote in Congress by saying, I can only lift that little phone so many times in a day. Imagine the screaming from the White House press corps if Joe Biden had ever said anything like that.
Dude, imagine if Joe Biden interview was asked like, but don't you have to uphold the Constitution? He said, I don't know.
By the end of the day, Donald Trump had come up with a truly preposterous temporary appointment to that same position where he cannot win
crank the AC. It's fucking hot as shit in here.
Senate confirmation, he actually chose Fox host 73-year-old Jeanine Pirro to serve as the acting U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, where she will be allowed to serve as an acting U.S. attorney for 120 days maximum and cannot serve one day longer without being confirmed by the Senate, which would never happen in her case. Here's just a sample of the thinking of Donald Trump's temporary substitute for U.S. attorney, acting U.S. attorney in the District of Columbia.
I want Joe Biden to issue a travel alert to the world. None of you are coming here anymore. We're done with everybody. There is a cleansing needed in our FBI and Department of Justice. It needs to be cleansed of individuals who should not just be fired, but who need to be taken out in handcuffs.
Jeanine Pirro, you can safely assume, will not take a single...
Dude, that bitch is so out of touch. That bitch is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Also, by the way, I know I'm losing a couple of frames when we watch this video, but today I'm ordering that new laptop, so hopefully, you know, when that shows up, our videos are going to be better in the future.
Single person out of the FBI headquarters or Justice Department in handcuffs during her temporary tenure. Donald Trump's other big retreat was on the world stage today.
With all the skipped frames, how's the audio? Is the audio okay? I wonder if I close this out like that, if that would help.
Wall Street Journal describes it in this headline: Trump stages a trade war retreat. The Wall Street Journal said Republicans want to pretend this retreat is genius at work. Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman writes, "This will be smoke and mirrors, an attempt to persuade the gullible that Trump's tariffs are actually working. We can be sure of one thing. It won't lead to any significant opening of the British market to U.S. goods. Why? Because that market was already wide open before Trump stomped in. The most important thing to understand about Trump's trade war is that it's an attempt to solve a problem that only exists in his imagination. Trump's tariffs are a huge destructive attempt to fix something that wasn't broken." Unlike China, the United Kingdom is one of those countries that actually buys more from the United States than the United States buys from the United Kingdom. That's who Donald Trump announced some kind of agreement with today. Donald Trump tried to stress today how important it is to get a trade agreement with such a big trading partner as the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom was once the biggest economy in the world, but that was a very long time ago. And now the United Kingdom is a smaller economy than California. And so Donald Trump has agreed not to impose his illegal tariff of 25% on British cars imported into the United States. And you will not be surprised to know that the only actual British car maker that Donald Trump repeatedly mentioned when discussing British cars today was the kind that he used to ride around New York City in, Rolls-Royce.
So again, to any MAGA chuds watching this, you're not driving a Rolls-Royce. You're never driving a Rolls-Royce. I know you look at yourself and you think you're a temporarily embarrassed billionaire and that one day I'm going to be as rich as Elon Musk. You're not. You're falling for it. You're falling for the propaganda. You are advocating for policies that will help benefit the 1% because you've been fooled into thinking that you will one day join the club. You won't. You won't. You need to start advocating for yourself, not the future hypothetical version of yourself. It's called class consciousness. Check it out online.
Of the 14 million cars sold in the United States in a year, Rolls-Royce accounts for 1,765. It is the most insignificant imported product into the United States that you could possibly think of. But that car dominated Donald Trump's thinking today.
I mean, unless somebody shows me that there's another kind of a car that's comparable to a Rolls-Royce, then there aren't too many. This is a good commercial for Rolls-Royce, but they're going to order a lot of cars.
Mr. President, I wonder.
Real quick, I just want to point out a chatter in here, dedicated hate watcher, MLG Jonathan, who's been like toting about, I bench so much, dude. When I was in college, I ran through the whole cheer team. He just said that he takes gender-affirming care. He just admitted that he takes 500 milligrams of testosterone weekly and 200 milligrams of D-ball. I don't know what that means. So this guy literally takes gender-affirming drugs and probably advocates to ban them at the same time.
Whether you
I don't have thoughts on Gavin Newsom. I think he's a piece of shit.
I mean, well, the last time this happened, I ended up.
I would be happy to suggest a discount, obviously a very modest discount. We have to protect our profit margins.
I've had many of them, actually.
That's right. He's had many of them. The gaudiest New York vulgarian of our lifetimes used to ride around New York City in a Rolls Royce before he decided, as a politician, that no one should ever buy a foreign car. As usual, Donald Trump demonstrated in his announcement of a return to almost normal trading status with the United Kingdom that he has no idea what he's talking about, or better put, he has no idea what he's asked about. Listen to Donald Trump's answer about non-market barriers to trade and see if there's the slightest hint that he knows what that means.
On the non-market barriers, how did you get the UK to bend, and what was the 11th hour deal or ask?
Well, I think it was really just a part of the overall. I mean, they have so many things that are so good for them. It's going to be so good for the country. And that was sort of easy. It wasn't, we had non-market, I call it non-market or non-monetary trade barriers. And we had quite a few of them, not nearly as bad as some countries. Some countries have, you know, they have virtually no tariff, but the rest of it is so brutal you can't do business with them, right? So it's a very important question, actually. No, I think the overall deal just worked out very well from their standpoint. They were willing to give that in order to get.
Real quick, I want to point out in the chat, guy goes, Chris, you probably take gender-affirming care. Look at you. That's a compliment. You're saying that I look manly, and I don't take HRT. So you're saying I look manly naturally. And also at the same time, we have somebody in chat who's like, hey, I get it from my dealer. That's not HRT. That is literally hormone replacement therapy. You're taking testosterone in order to act and look more like a man.
Other things, and you might want to speak to that, Mr. Ambassador.
That's right. When you have no idea what the question is about, you turn to the British ambassador and you say, you might want to speak to that, Mr. Ambassador. Donald Trump just said there's quite a few of them, but he never said what they are. He never identified even one. So Donald Trump spent the day trying to protect Rolls-Royce. And he did protect the market for Rolls-Royce in the United States. The American automobile industry, though, is disturbed that Donald Trump is more concerned with his friends in the United States being able to buy Rolls-Royces at their usual price instead of the survival of American automobile manufacturers. Today, the big three U.S. automakers issued a statement saying they are disappointed. Quote, the U.S. automotive industry is highly integrated with Canada and Mexico. The same is not true.
This guy in chat, real quick, MLG Jonathan, just admitted that he has a 2.5-inch shrimp dick, and he's still proud of himself. Brother, I hope you know this is being recorded. It's going on YouTube. You just self-admitted to having a micro penis. Couldn't be
For the
me.
United States and United Kingdom, we are disappointed that the administration prioritized the UK ahead of our North American partners. Under this deal, it will now be cheaper to import a UK vehicle with very little U.S. content than a USMCA compliant vehicle from Mexico or Canada that is half American parts.
Oh, great. So Trump is making foreign cars cheaper than American cars. Great.
American automakers, suppliers, and auto workers. We hope this preferential access for UK vehicles over North American ones does not set a precedent for future negotiations with Asian and European competitors. And there you have it. British cars imported to the United States as of today have been given a huge advantage over American-made cars by Donald Trump's unilateral manipulation of his own illegal tariffs. Donald Trump said that what was announced in the Oval Office today is a trade deal. That is a lie. There is no trade deal with the United Kingdom because of what happened in the Oval Office today. It is simply a rogue president violating American law on tariffs, declaring that he is going to violate that law in a different direction when it comes to the United Kingdom. And only
Trump doesn't give a fuck about these tariffs, bro. He just made a deal with the UK because the rich people in America want their fucking Rolls Royces. To another point in the chat, we've got the same dedicated hate watcher, Christian24. Welcome, Christian. You're back again. He says, Chris, we can all bench more than you. I just want you guys to understand that this is the point that I've been trying to make, is that we've reached the point in American politics where the right has actually nothing to operate on, and they've gotten to the point where they're going, I'm stronger than you, Donald Trump! That's where we are. These people are mentally disabled. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay, this is a form of mental disability.
the United Kingdom. There are a number of solid lawsuits out there in federal courts tonight claiming harm from Donald Trump's tariffs to American importers and arguing to the courts that Donald Trump's tariffs are illegal and unconstitutional. And the United Kingdom knows this. They know that nothing will be written into American law that they have discussed with Trump negotiators. They also know that federal courts could completely throw out everything that Donald Trump's team has agreed to because they do not have the legal authority to agree to it. Only Congress could make what Donald Trump is talking about the actual trade law of the United States. And nothing agreed to by the White House on international trade can ever become law, can ever be written into law without the approval of Congress. The stock market very much approved of Donald Trump's retreat today. The market was up and will probably be able to stay up on the now well-earned belief and expectation that Donald Trump will continue to surrender in so-called trade negotiations and continue to dramatically reduce or eliminate the illegal tariffs he has been threatening to impose. Donald Trump has gotten no concessions from China since launching his trade war against China.
Trump also
Zero.
just announced that he's going to lower the tariffs that he put on China from 145% to 80%, and that's because he is losing the trade war. You can't win a trade war against China.
And the New York Post is reporting tonight that Donald Trump is already planning to drop his illegal tariff against China from 145% to 50%.
I thought it was
next
80%.
week, when Trump administration officials will be meeting with Chinese officials in Switzerland. The Chinese officials reading that information in the American press about Donald Trump already caving to them before they've even arrived in Switzerland and said a word is no doubt very encouraging to the Chinese negotiating team. Donald Trump is right.
Before the negotiation meeting itself, Trump is making it clear online that he's already willing to go down from 145 to 50%. The guy is a terrible businessman. He bankrupted a casino. He was given a $10 million gift from his daddy in order to become successful. Trump is pathetic. And it makes sense that he has all of these fucking weird-ass incel fucking followers, because they're all just as pathetic as him.
Seen as the confused, economically illiterate clown at the center of his own trade war, who has become the most unpopular president in the first 100 days of his presidency in the history of presidential polling. In The Atlantic, Michael Schulman writes about what that will mean in the next week's talks in Switzerland with China. Quote, Trump's negotiating position will be the weaker one. Already in recent months, U.S. policy has appeared to vacillate, its strategy and goals uncertain, while Chinese leader Xi Jinping has held fast, presented an image of strength, and kept his larger geopolitical goals in focus. China has taken the opportunity of the chaos of Trump's trade policy to draw other countries, including American allies, closer to itself. The longer this standoff has persisted, the more Trump has signaled that he's the one who badly needs a trade deal. Just days ahead of talks with China, Trump's goals remain unclear. Beijing's far more consistent position has been that China will not bow to American pressure and that Washington must act to resolve.
There is no American pressure. America has no cards. What pressure do you think America can put on China, the manufacturing giant of planet Earth? Are you fucking stupid?
The crisis it started. Trump's tariffs have given Xi an opportunity to portray himself as the more responsible and reliable statesman, and that is the easiest thing any head of state has ever tried to do, portray himself as more responsible and reliable than Donald Trump. The people standing around Donald Trump in the Oval Office today, with the exception of the British ambassador to the United States, have all made a commitment, an oath of office.
Thank you for the $5, dude. What?
To publicly
I don't
lie
like Gavin
for
Newsom.
Donald Trump about international trade, and in J.D. Vance's case, about anything and everything. They have all implicitly taken an oath to never use one of their powers as members of the cabinet, and that is invoke the 25th Amendment, along with the vice president, to remove the president from office and install the vice president as acting president due to the president's inability.
It is time for the 25th Amendment. It is time to remove Donald Trump from office. Now, I understand that that means that we would get President J.D. Vance, which is still a nightmare, but anything is better than Trump. Michael Aguirre says, doesn't America buy everything, so really the buyer holds more value? No, it's a complete and total opposite. Yes, we buy more from China than China buys from us, which means that we are beholden to China's economy. We are entirely reliant on cheap Chinese goods. If they stop the flow of goods here, we will fucking collapse. That's the reality. Americans are treatlerites. We're addicted to our cheap little treats, our overnight Amazon deliveries, our $4.99 Funko Pops. You take those away and Americans will revolt.
To serve. Donald Trump chose a cabinet that really is.
MLG goes in quotes. He goes, oh no, I can't buy cheap child labor from Temu. Literally though. No, actually, MLG, that is what America has become. After 60 years of neoliberalism and offshoring all of our manufacturers, that is unironically what America has become. If I can't get my cheap Chinese goods, I revolt. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Americans, by and large. That is what keeps our nation functioning. You think that's good? Child labor is good? No, it's not good. But to cut the flow of what our nation is built upon is to ask us to decline. What you need to do, rather than throw the baby out with the bathwater, is slowly but effectively bring American manufacturers back to America. Not cut the fucking line entirely. That's how you ask for complete and total economic depression.
25th Amendment proof. They would never dare to even consider using the 25th Amendment against Donald Trump, no matter what he does. And they demonstrate their fealty to Donald Trump in the most perverse ways in the history of presidential cabinets. The rodeo clown of the Trump cabinet, Howard Lutnick, who has no experience in government and apparently no experience in decency, debased himself once again today, this time not with the stupidest words ever spoken by a Commerce Secretary about tariffs. He does that every day. This time it was with a goofy guffaw, bending over, laughing and clapping, when Donald Trump, in a Trumpian ramble reeking of dementia, called the first and only Jewish leader of the United States Senate a Palestinian.
Oh my God.
The Jewish Secretary of Commerce decided he's the one who should laugh the very loudest at that. Howard Lutnick decided he should have the biggest reaction to that, bigger even than J.D. Vance's smile. Howard Lutnick decided calling Chuck Schumer a Palestinian is something that he wants to declare to the world is bend over laughing and clapping funny.
They have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian. Welcome. I don't know when they're going to give him the ceremony, whatever the ceremony may be. It's terrible what's happened to the Democrats.
Dude, it's giving the same
Why?
energy as like laughing as hard as you can when the guy or girl you have a crush on tells a joke. That's so funny. That's what that's giving. That is hilariously pathetic.
Why is Howard Lutnick laughing? Most of the people standing behind Donald Trump didn't laugh. Donald Trump has said it before. Donald Trump has been attacked for saying it before. Chuck Schumer correctly was outraged by Donald Trump calling him a Palestinian several weeks ago. It certainly wasn't the shock of the new that Howard Lutnick was spontaneously laughing at. Howard Lutnick is from Long Island. Howard Lutnick has no doubt over the course of his life heard a lot of nasty jokes directed at Jewish people that he doesn't like. It may be that Howard Lutnick thinks that any time a line includes the word Palestinian, that is somehow funny. I don't know. I don't know what he thinks, because it is inexplicable that a person would laugh at that statement. No one in that room today praised Donald Trump more than Howard Lutnick. Why? Why? That's what Howard Lutnick thinks he has to do. He thinks he's in a competition with everyone else in the cabinet in praising Donald Trump. And he is the most pathetic and buffoonish court jester in the history of the American presidential cabinet. Howard Lutnick will go about his business doing public interviews in friendly venues, and he will never be asked, why did you laugh at that? He will be allowed to lie about tariffs everywhere he goes on television to his friendly interviewers, and he will never be asked, why did you laugh at Donald Trump saying Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian? We don't have any questions for Donald Trump about a moment like that, because we know the man's brain is broken and full of poison and always has been. He is a hateful hunk of stupidity and bigotry sitting in that chair. The question for Howard Lutnick is, what is wrong with you?
Well, anybody who's part of Trump's cabinet has a mental deficiency, and I do mean that. Anybody who is in Trump's cabinet must be mentally deficient. Genuinely. Call me ableist all you want. I don't give a fuck.
The question for Howard Lutnick is, have you no decency?
Yeah, so, I mean, fucking Lawrence O'Donnell just ripped Trump a new fucking asshole, and he's saying all the same things that we've been saying over here for fucking months. Donald Trump is a buffoonish, clownish, fat fascist. He's an embarrassment to the nation. He's the worst president the United States has ever had in our history. He's the weakest president that the United States has ever had in our history, both physically and mentally. He's a complete and total threat to democracy. He needs to be removed from office via the 25th Amendment. However, that will never happen. And then once he is removed from office, he needs to be arrested. However, that will never happen. But other than that, oh, and somebody in chat, Trump sycophant said, now do richest. Yes, you're right. He's also the richest president in American history because he created a government for the billionaires and by the billionaires. And the bootlicking, blue-collar union class will lick his fucking boots clean. They'll polish it. They'll throat that shit down to their goddamn, what is that thing called in the back? The thing that makes you gag? Whatever the fuck it's called. Anyway, if you're watching this live, you stay. We're going to keep going for a little bit. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Real quick, chatter says, trying to overthrow the president. That's fascist, Chris. No, that's the 25th Amendment, you stupid fuck. You don't know that because you don't read the Constitution, and you probably don't know how to read. Again, if you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. If you do want to support the channel financially, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You can become a patron on Patreon for $5. You could become a member on YouTube for $5. You could buy some of this dope-ass Valenti Videos merch right down below, and you could use that 40% off discount code for Ground News Vantage subscription located in the description down below. Other than that, click that video that's going to pop up right over there. I promise you, it's an absolute fucking banger. I'll catch you in the next one. 25th Amendment means nothing if it wasn't used for Brandon or Hunter. Do you think Brandon... I don't even know who the fuck Brandon is, but do you think Hunter Biden was the president of the United States and could be removed from the presidency via the 25th Amendment? Is that what you think? How come only the left can call fascism? What makes the MAGA fascist and the left not fascist? Donald Trump follows. He meets all 14 key characteristics of fascism. As described by Dr. Lawrence Britt in 2003, the #1 most recognized fascist expert on planet Earth who studied Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, and Pol Pot and their fascist regimes. Trump meets literally all 14 qualifications. Chris, you're the closeted fascist. I am not. You also spell your and closeted incorrectly. He was definitely in control. Just look at the Ukraine deals he was making in 2014. Are you claiming that Hunter Biden was the president of the United States? Brandon is the right's nickname for Biden. Oh my God. Says the communist. We've gone over this many a time, Christian. You admitted yourself you don't know what communism is. I'm also not a communist, but that doesn't matter. I'm your ideological enemy. Therefore, I'm a communist in your eyes because anybody who doesn't support the Fuhrer is a communist. We've gone over this. We understand how you work, bro. You operate like a fucking 7-year-old. All right, nice to meet you, Ultra Ego Asuka. We're gonna need to make a thumbnail now. We gotta upload that video and make a thumbnail. We're gonna lose frames while we do this, just so you know. How many does Biden and other presidents meet to be fascists? Only Trump meets all 14 qualifications. I've never seen an American president fit 14 qualifications like that. Never in American history have I seen that. Marxist, Leninist, brother, that's what you are, a threat to democracy. Again, I'm not a Marxist, Leninist. I'm a democratic socialist. You don't know what that is. Anybody who opposes the Fuhrer, you think is a communist. You also want anybody who is an enemy of the state to be arrested. You think that I'm an enemy of the state because I don't like the Fuhrer. You are a fascist. We've gone over this many a times. There's no point in even getting upset with you, bro. You're too stupid to even understand that you're a fascist. It's not your fault that you're that stupid. It's the fault of the American education system. I do hold a little bit of empathy for you. I wish that you weren't this uneducated, but fortunately you are. Maybe you should be arrested. That would be fun. Thank you for proving my point. You're fascist. You're proving my point repeatedly. You are fascist. Socialism is a stepping stone to communism. No, it can be. Humanity is fucking at least 500 years away from communism, bro. Do you understand that communism is a utopia? It's a perfect world. It doesn't fucking exist. This disinformation campaign you're running is absurd. Tell me one thing I've said that's disinformation, MLG. One thing. One thing. Too many to pick just one. Thank you for proving my point yet again. Arresting people is fascist. Got it. No, you want me arrested because I don't like Trump. That's what you want, right? You want me arrested because I'm on the left? You want me arrested because you said I'm a threat to democracy? Yeah, that's fascist. By definition. That's the literal definition of fascism. Long-time watcher, first rage baiter. What's up with the haircut, liberal? Get it at the liberal store? I did. I got my haircut at the liberal store. Can't even ask a question without being attacked. Talk about fascism. What question? What did you ask? What is going on? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Let's get that video uploaded. We're going to lose frames while we do this. We are going to lose frames while we do this. All you do is attack. You don't ever want to discuss. What do you want to discuss? Because you know you'd lose any debate. What would you like to discuss? While I make this thumbnail. MLG and Chris livestream debate? No, I'm not giving this fucking little rat any of my clout. You could debate me in the comment section. If I could be brought up, I could debate you. Bring me up. I don't know how to bring anybody up. This isn't TikTok. You can't do like guests. You have to have some sort of third party system to do that. But B, I don't fucking do that. I don't do live debates with chatters. This isn't 2013. Also, debate purgatory is so fucking long gone, dude. I thought debate perverts faded away. Episode 111. I told you we're going to have skipped frames. I told you. Fascists are usually scared of debates. No, dude, I've done so many debates back on TikTok. There's no point to doing debates because debates aren't about who's in the moral right. It's about who is more ideologically armed, who brought more ammo. That's what it's about. I have debated Dean before, and go debate him again. That's the thing. I don't I don't do what Dean does. I don't think that's effective. You know what I mean? I don't think it changes anybody's minds. Malachi Brandt just became a loyalist. Thank you very much, Malachi Brandt. I highly doubt you clowned on Dean. Loyalist, huh? Yes, sir. I like the sound of that. Yes, sir. Dean already exposed for working with a racist, so there's that. I don't even know what you're talking about. Yup, classic leftist. What, working with a racist? Isn't, dude, I thought weren't you the one claiming that the left is all about like DEI and equality and shit? You kind of look like Dean. Get the fuck out of here. Don't kid yourself. They did this whole Unfuck America tour, and the host was a real open racist. Oh, shit. But that doesn't make him fucking racist. Did he know they were racist? Yes, Dean knew. How do you know that? How do you know that? Did he admit that? Let's see. Yes, he was among other creators invited and didn't speak out about it. Oh, well, that sucks. You do realize that the Dems are the slave owners and the Confederates. Yeah. Yeah. There's a 100-year-long party switch. It took 100 years for the voters in the South to start recognizing and voting alongside of Republican values, and it took 100 years for the people in the North and in urban areas to start converting to the Democrat side. It's 100 years of American history. I have detailed videos about this, very long videos about this. Take note of Jack's previous comment. No, he did not. Chris, all that came out the day after the tour. Oh. Okay, cool. So, I mean, he didn't know he was fucking racist, so. Also, I know plenty of fucking people who are racist. That doesn't make me fucking racist. Wait. Do people not know that the party switched? No, they know it. They refuse to accept it, even though it's irrefutable. It's documented evidence. It's over 100 years long of American history that led to the party switch. Half of y'all racist. He's talking about anti-white racism, just so you understand. Guaranteed. Dean may not be racist, but he and others definitely scapegoated the guy who exposed him. I don't give a fuck. Genuinely, I couldn't give less of a fuck. You're racist against white people, though, Chris, admit it. I'm not. I'm also white, dude. But no, I'm not racist against white people. I'm white. Libtard always backtracks. I'm not liberal. But again, anybody who disagrees with the Fuhrer is a liberal, communist, Marxist, Leninist, radical. Right, brothers? Right, brothers? Hell yeah, brothers. Goddamn liberals. It's a goddamn liberals. It's a goddamn liberals. If there's one thing I know, It's the goddamn liberals are to blame. Hell yeah, brothers. Hell yeah, brothers. You know how it is. All right, I gotta go, Venti. Nice chatting with you. Have a good one. Taking this chick out to eat I met the other day at the gym. Hope she doesn't have a husband, but we'll see. That's a 13-year-old kid. That is a 13-year-old kid. That is the cringiest shit I've ever fucking read, dog. Hi, Bean. What a fucking loser. What a fucking loser. Hey, Chris, started watching your videos. Just had to say how much I support you and what you speak about. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer Snow. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. All right, you guys want to see the thumbnail so far? How do we like that? You dig? You guys dig that? You dig it? Hi, Bean. Weenie. Come here, Ween. Don't run from me. Come here. Why are you running? Okay, let's get this uploaded. I do literally want Mario and beef. I don't want Mario and rice. I want Mario and beef. Let's get this fucker uploaded. Miss my cat. I hope she comes home. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. That blows. I hope she comes home, too. I lost a cat before. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse. Trump bends the knee to Xi Jinping. Thank you for loving my hair. How do you spell Jinping? Xinping? Xi Jinping. Somebody spell Xi Jinping in chat. Trump bends the knee to Xi Jinping. We officially lost the trade war. The U.S. officially lost the trade war. Xi Jinping, thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, it's with a J? It's with a J. Thank you. I will fix that right now. Xi Jinping. Been chilling. You want to say hi now? You want to say hi? Testing, testing, testing. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Luigi Vodcast. I'm your host, Luigi Valenti, and today we're going to be talking about vacuums. What are they? Why are they? And how can we kill them? Wow, wow, hi, hi. China is laughing at us along with the rest of the world. The USA has lost the trade war because Donald Trump is the weakest president in American history, both physically and mentally. He is a fat Nepo baby with terrible orange skin and a wife that never loved him. He is a perfect example of what MAGA voters represent deep in their soul. Semicolon, hatred. Hey. It's going in the Valenti VOD. You're right. I do try to be like Trump. When's the next Valenti verse coming out? We have a pause on Valenti verse until I can make some more money, because it was extremely expensive to make 5 episodes of Valenti verse. But now that we have 5 episodes wrapped up, it's easy to pitch that to, like producers and shit like that. It's easier to sell a show that exists than it is to sell a show that doesn't exist. All right, this is going to go from members to public at 2 p.m. There we go. All done. Follow Trump because he's a smart Christian, God-fearing man. Yeah, like when he posted a picture, an AI-generated picture of him dressed up as the Pope. That was so God-fearing Christian. Or when he cheated on his fifth wife by fucking a porn star named Stormy Daniels and then paying her hush money. That was so Christian-like of him. All of that, yeah, no, great. Or when he said he likes to grab women by the pussy. So Christian-like of him, you know. $5 donation, my contribution to the Valentiverse. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. He never AI poped himself. Are you a fucking idiot, Christian? Are you joking or are you serious right now? Are you joking or are you serious? Are you an idiot? You're telling me he didn't post this on Truth Social? You're telling me Donald Trump didn't post this on Truth Social? Himself? The day after the Pope died? And then you're telling me he didn't say on video that he wants to be the Pope? You're telling me none of this happened? Really? He did this during the conclave. When the Pope was yet to be put in the fucking ground. I saw it, well, it's a joke. Well, you see, your name is Christian. You said he's a God-fearing Christian. Is this good or bad? Is this okay? Because they were still grieving the Pope. They hadn't picked a new Pope. He wasn't even in the fucking ground yet. And he said he wants to be the Pope and then posted this picture on fucking Twitter. But you have no problem with that, right? He's still a God-fearing Christian man, right? He's still a God-fearing Christian man, right? You're such a fucking idiot. You know nothing about not only your own religion, but your own fucking nation. Now that's bad. Nope, it's not bad because you're not going to stop supporting him. You're in a cult. I know that's bad, but you don't care. You're going to keep supporting him and licking his boot because that's what you are. You're a boot-licking cultist. Even this is not going to be enough for you. There's nothing he can do. You're a boot-licking cultist. Even you go, that's bad, but you're still going to support him. You're still going to vote for him in 2028, despite that being a violation of the Constitution. I still support him. I don't support all of it. Yes, you do. You support everything he does. The reason why is because you will still vote for him. Even after everything he's done, you will still vote for him. Guaranteed. You're in a cult, dude. You're in a cult. Even this, you're like, damn, that's making me feel conflicted feelings. You're still going to support him. 100% you're still going to support him. You're a cultist. You're in a cult. That's why everybody points and laughs at you. You're in a cult. You voted for Kamala. You support all Kamala's things. No, I don't. And the thing is, I would have jumped ship on voting for Kamala if she crossed my lines. And I thought Kamala Harris was a dog shit candidate. But there are lines. If she had said something like, long live the queen. Remember when Donald Trump tweeted out long live the king a couple of days after election when he referred to himself as the king of the United States of America? That would have been a line for me. And also, Christian, this isn't about you having voted for Trump. Just because you voted for Trump doesn't mean you're a Trump cultist. It's about now. It's about right now. You still support Trump, even though you look at this picture and you're like, damn, that's fucked up, but I guess I still got to support him because that's the Führer. That's it. Curacao, $5. Valenti versus the R-rated crash course of history that we didn't know we needed, but that is what we love. Keep up the work, man. Keep up the dream. Thank you, Curacao. I appreciate that. Why didn't you vote for the Communist Party of America? Because I'm not communist. We've gone over this. I'm not communist. But again, it doesn't matter to you. Because I don't support your Führer, therefore I'm a communist. That's because you're in a cult. And you've been taught to say that. Trump said that. Phony commie Kamala. You have been taught and propagandized into labeling anybody who does not support the Führer as a communist, which is what you've been doing for the past 2 hours, or since you've gotten here. Trump's a leader? Yeah, but he's the Führer. He's the supreme leader. There's no rules and regulations that can stop him. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously 9-0 that he has to bring home Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He didn't give a fuck. 32 federal judges have tried to stop his illegal dismantling of our government institutions with Doge. He doesn't give a fuck. There's nothing standing in the way of him. He's a Führer. He's the Führer. He's a ruler, not a Führer. No, I'm calling him the Führer because he's a fascist, and the last time we had like a leader of a fascist nation like Nazi Germany, they referred to him as the Führer, the supreme and ultimate leader, which is how you view him. So yeah, I call him the Führer because I'm inferring that you are akin to the Nazis. You're blindly following this man into the depths of hell. What up, Ritsu? How you doing, brother? Trump only wanted to be president because he wanted to be worshipped. Yeah, and he got what he got. He got what he wanted. We have literal, like, actual brainwashed beta cuck loser bootlicking cultists such as Christian 24 who literally worship him. They literally worship him. How am I a Nazi if I support Israel? I don't think you want the answer to that. I don't think you're ready for that conversation. I'm being totally for real. I don't think you're ready for that conversation. That'll be a conversation for another day. But I will say this. What you just said was, how could I be a Nazi if I support the one nation on earth that is most similar to the Nazis? That's what you just said. How do I support, you just said, how am I a Nazi if I support the one nation on earth that most resembles the Nazis? That's what you just said. But we'll go into detail for that for another time because I know you will be back. You always come back. You're the most dedicated hate watcher I've ever had. But unfortunately, I do have to go. I got shit I got to do, such as take a shit. But thank you to everybody who tuned into the Valenti broadcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. If you do want to support the channel financially, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You become a patron on Patreon for $5. You could become a member on YouTube for $5. You could buy some of this dope-ass Valenti videos merch down below. And you could use a 40% off discount on the Vantage subscription for Ground News located in the description down below. Other than that, be brave. I love you. Have a good one.